Hey, this is Lee Acey, Chancellor of SMUG. I'm coming to you from the 18th floor of the Hyatt Regency in Milwaukee, where I'm going to be speaking tomorrow to the Wisconsin Healthcare Public Relations and Marketing Society, talking about social media. Earlier this week, we had the summit on social media and healthcare that was sponsored by Reagan Communications and that we did with Mayo Clinic down in Scottsdale, Arizona. One of the sessions we had was the 30 Ideas in 30 Minutes panel, and one of the ideas that I had suggested, take-home action steps that communicators and marketers should take, was to get an iPhone. And that created kind of a ripple through the crowd of people saying, oh yeah, wow, yeah, okay, I should do that. The reason I gave for that was that mobile communications, and particularly smartphones, are going to be an important factor in communications in the future. People who are professional communicators need to understand how they work, need to have a basic familiarity with what an application is, whether it's on iPhone or Android or some other BlackBerry, some other kind of smartphone. And one of the things that somebody asked as part of the 30 Ideas in 30 Minutes thing was, well, could you actually do a blog post or a video talking about why it's important to get an iPhone? Why you recommend that? I think they wanted to be able to show it to people who might be helping to make the purchasing decisions. Just as I think it's borders on malpractice for a communicator to not have a Facebook profile when 300 million other people do. People who are professional communicators need to have those. I don't think it's quite that bad to not have an iPhone, but I do think it's understanding that technology is important, and I personally believe there's no better way to really understand how technology like that, mobile technology, works than to get it and try it for yourself. So I think some of the people in the audience at our summit in Scottsdale were hoping that this video would help them make the case to their employers that they needed to have that funded by their employer. And if that can happen, I think that's great. For others, it may be talking to a spouse to say, honey, I really need to get one of these. That's sort of how I rationalized it with my lovely wife, Lisa. But I guess the other point that I would just make is just as getting a flip video camera or some kind of consumer grade video camera like the one that I'm shooting this little talk with is important. Getting an iPhone or a smartphone of some kind like that, I don't want to necessarily endorse one particular brand, but getting a smartphone with applications so that you understand how these work is really important. And it's important enough that even if your employer isn't reimbursing for it or contributing toward it, if you're a professional communicator, I just think it's should be something that you would do just so that you can continue to learn and grow. So I think it's great if employers are able to help subsidize, but I think you need to do whatever you need to do to be able to get your hands on the technology so that you can get familiar with it and know how it can be used effectively in your work.